Breaking news in the search for three missing brothers. Right now, their father is out of the mental hospital ward. Tonight, he's behind bars, and police fear the worst. Joining me, Michelle Sagone, investigative reporter, and Vikki Ziegler, family law attorney. First, I want to go through a timeline of this case just to bring everyone up to speed as to what happened, and then we'll try to figure out where these children are. Take a listen.
Thanksgiving Day, November 25th. Andrew Alexander and Tanner Skelton are seen in their father's backyard in Michigan. Friday, November 26th. The boy's father, John Skelton, tries to commit suicide. Their mother, Tanya Skelton, reports the children missing at 3 p.m. Police ask for tips from anyone who has seen Dad's blue 2000 Dodge Grand Caravan on Friday, particularly between the early morning hours of 4 and 7 a.m. Monday, November 29th. The search becomes more concentrated in Williams County, Ohio. Searchers focus on campgrounds, hunt for evidence along highways, after police say the boy's father lied.
All right, Michelle Sagone, what's the latest now? Is the search continuing? Where are they looking? If they're saying they fear the worst, I've got to think they're looking for bodies now.
That's what it appears to be. I spoke with the police about 25 minutes ago, Vinny, and I'm told that although there are some reports out there that these children have been found, that is definitely not the case, and the search is ongoing at this time, mainly in a lot of areas that they have been combing over the last few days, especially along a long stretch of highway that they believe that the children may have possibly been discarded or dropped off in those particular areas. Right now, their father, John Skelton, he is being held at the Lucas County facility and is awaiting extradition at this time. So he is charged, as you mentioned, with 3 charges of parental kidnapping. And, you know, at this particular time, of course, they are evaluating and talking with him. And then they knew, investigators knew, as soon as he was going to leave that mental health facility, they needed to be right there to put the handcuffs on him, to bring him back in, to figure out where these children are.
Vikki Ziegler with us. And Vikki, I wanted you on the show tonight because these two, the parents, are in the middle of this divorce. They're separating, and there's custody issues. I've got to think that's what fueled whatever happened here. I want you to take a look and listen to part of that divorce decree that we got our hands on. Here it talks about how the father took these kids to Florida. Take a listen.
On September 13th, 2010, when the defendant ascertained that the plaintiff had retained legal counsel, he took Andrew and Alexander, placed them in the family van, and left. The defendant was unable to put Tanner in the van, as the child was standing next to his mother. When the defendant left, Andrew was crying, not in his car seat. This taking of the party's minor children was done against the objections of the plaintiff and after police had left the family residence. Both of the kids indicated they were in Jacksonville, Florida, with an acquaintance of the defendant, Hillary Golden.
All right, Vikki, how does this happen? We've got a history between these two in a custody battle. The kid's at another point apparently given to a third party by the father, takes him down to Florida. How is it that in the court system somehow he has control and custody of these kids over the holidays by himself?
Yeah, it's devastating, Vinny. I wish I had a great answer. I don't. I read all of the documents and some of the ones that were just cited, and it appears that there was a major concern that he would take the children without Tanya Skelton's consent, knowledge. She had no idea where the children were in October. Then the parties came to a stipulation. They agreed on a parenting schedule, not a supervised parenting schedule, but Mr. Skelton was getting overnights on alternate weekends and dinner visits. And it behooves me because in the agreement it said that he wasn't to drink when he was in front of the children, which seems strange to me. However, people violate court orders all the time. This is clearly what he did, a violation of a court order, parental kidnapping. The problem is nobody knows where the children are, and more importantly, if they don't ever find these children, which we pray they do you know what parental kidnapping charges are? It's a felony in Michigan? 1 year. That's all. 1 year. So this is a really, 1 year. I mean, come on. These are precious babies that we're talking about.
Let's take a quick listen. Yeah, let's take a quick listen to what Police Chief Larry Weeks has to say, because he's talking about whether or not the father is cooperating.
He's been forthcoming with some information, the credibility of which we cannot verify at this time. So we certainly would be hopeful that he or whoever knows where they're at would come forward.
And all the mystery continues. We'll continue to stay on top of it. Michelle Sagone, Vikki Ziegler, thank you both so much. Meanwhile, a bizarre... All right, time to introduce tonight's fantastic panel of news junkies as we get ready to rip through the rest of the day's headlines. Joining us tonight, family law attorney Vikki Ziegler. Vikki is a diehard gambler who loves to play roulette. Also with us, Jade Donovan, co-host of Johnny and Jade morning show on XL 106.7 down in Orlando. Jade loves pop culture, is a huge fan of Mad Men and Dexter. And finally, radio host and former child star Danny Bonaducci. You may remember him from his Partridge Family days. Before we rip through the rest of the day's headlines, we've got another Partridge Family connection tonight. The Florida Highway Patrol has released dash cam video of David Cassidy's DUI arrest. Let's take a look.
You have cataracts or anything like that? I do. Right. However, I had a wandering eye as a child. Okay. I had a surgery at 12 years old. I had deformed muscles, which is associated with farsightedness.
All right, so David's claiming a wandering eye, or is this just a DUI, Danny? What's going on with your friend David here? How's he doing on this?
David,
go ahead.
The David Cassidy I know and love has always had a wandering eye. That's what made him great. But the fact is, there are certainly inalienable rights here. That one is implied consent. When you get your driver's license, you get what is called implied consent, meaning if you accept your driver's license, you will take a sobriety test. You may also take the fifth. What you can't do is take a sobriety test with a fifth in your hand. That was a big problem. That's an error in judgment right there. Now, as an attorney, you know that you can call a breathalyzer into question rather easily. You ask the police officer 3 questions. When was the last time you were trained? When was the last time the breathalyzer was recalibrated? And have you been retrained since they recalibrated it? The answer to the last 2 will be no. And now the breathalyzer is called into question. Unfortunately, when you have half a bottle of bourbon in your hand at the time, I think the jury is going to believe that possibly you're guilty.
Okay. Jay Donovan, were you heartbroken when you saw David Cassidy on the side of the road taking a field sobriety test?
No way. I don't understand what the big deal is. What sober 60-year-old men don't have a half bottle of bourbon in the back seat? Doesn't everybody when they're sober? Come on.
Vikki, any chance that he could be found not guilty here just by looking at the field sobriety test here? He looks like he's wobbling a little bit.
I was looking for the wandering eye defense in the statute for DWIs. Doesn't happen, not out there. It looks like he is wasted beyond belief. And Donnie Bonaducci, by the way, should have his legal license because he made some really good arguments for him.
Yeah, I think he's been in court a few times, huh, Danny?
I know.
I know a little bit about this. Wait till we get to the 5150 that's coming up later.
All right, the government is thinking about using jamming technology